And now, broadcasting live from the Dark Room studio at Craven Community College, it's In the Know.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to In the Know. I'm Craig Ramey.
Good morning, Craig. I'm Megan Johnson.
Yes,
welcome, everybody.
Yeah, welcome. So this is In the Know. This is a show we do every week. We try to do it every week unless there's a storm or something.
And we try to do it at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
But I got picked on because I was running a little late.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. But we're here now. So we do the show. We do it
weekly.
In Barker Hall. We do it weekly after taking a week off, I'm just out of my groove, I think is what it is. But yeah,
we're in the Dark Room studio.
We're in the Dark
here
Room studio.
At Public Radio East.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to get there.
You will. At the New Bern campus.
Yeah. Wait, is that where we are?
Yes, and it's September 7th.
Tell me everything, Megan.
Now you're up to date.
Yes, great. But yeah, so basically what we do is we get in here and we have a silly little time. We talk about fun things, thing of the day. We'll talk about some community events later on. And then we always try to have a special guest. Today our guests, we have Brad Poyer and Dino the Barber with us.
Also known as Donnell the Best.
Yeah. Welcome, guys. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so they're going to be talking about a podcast they're working on, or they're doing, Dads Unscripted, about dads and mental health. I'm sure Donnell will do a little plug for the barbering program as well. You can't go anywhere without Donnell letting us know about the barbering program. So
that's right.
That's good. Yeah.
And we wouldn't be here and looking so cute without Miss Zanetta in the green room. So good morning, Zanetta.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for keeping us on track.
Absolutely.
Are we on track?
We're on track. You're back. We're back in your groove.
Okay.
On track.
We got sound effects. We got trains.
I'm back on track.
Running on the rails. Keep it on the rails, Megan.
I may have a crash and burn, but that's okay. Right now we're good.
That's okay. No, we're here.
We are.
Have you been into this already? I mean, let's talk about what's going on.
Okay. Let's just start with it. What is the world's most consumed alcoholic beverage?
Beer, I'm guessing.
Beer.
Yeah.
So today is National Beer Lovers Day, and Zanetta reached out to Jeff Schultz, who's over at the Volt Center, who runs our brewing classes, and we have one upcoming starting October 4th, and I think Zanetta's going to post that on the webpage, and that'll be the intro to beer brewing. And these are actually beers that our students, with their instruction, have gone from the whole fermentation process. So this is hops in this jar. It looks like rabbit food.
It does look like rabbit pellets.
And then we have barley, and this is good for making,
reach across.
I don't know, regular beer. Most beer is made out of barley. Hops is more for your IPAs. Do you smell the difference?
A little bit. I mean, I like IPAs, but I don't like the smell of this.
It may not have been there it may have been out for a while.
Yeah, that might be old.
Ugh. Smells like
IPAs
rabbit food.
taste like bug spray.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they also created the label. So it's like Looking Good Ray IPA. I like that little rhyme on here. You want to hold it up?
And
then I've got NE IPA Ale, again, brewed by the students at Craven Community College. And their little label that they have made.
Nice.
And then we've got Irish Red Ale. Why did I turn into a pirate?
A pirate or something?
I'm not sure why. So let me tell you a little bit about beer.
The Irish Red Pirate.
The Irish Red Pirate. So beer, in the process of brewing beer, may predate known history. As varied by the methods, grains, and flavors, beer continues to change and evolve. Virginia colonists brewed beer. William Penn included a place for his brewing beer within his Pennsylvania colony. It can be visited even today at the Pennsbury Manor. The first president of the United States was George Washington.
Oh, good. I'm glad you told me. Sorry.
Recorded a recipe for brewing beer in his notes. Now, you and I have actually gotten a chance to taste George Washington's recipe when Jeff has been on the show and brought us the sample.
That's right. One of our earliest podcasts that we did.
And FYI, it's yucky.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was not good. It's made with molasses.
That happens a lot of times, though, when I've had colonial food, and it's like, oh, this is an interesting thing to try, unique recipe.
But you know what? They cooked with what they had.
That's right. Yeah.
So, they did they did their best. You know what? It worked.
Yeah.
That's what counted, right?
200-300 years from now, people are going to try a Cinnabon, and they're going to think it's disgusting, right?
There you go.
No, it's always going to be good.
There you go. So Samuel Adam holds a place for both beer and tea in our history. There are few beer lovers and patriots among the nation's founders. So, again, we've got National Beer Lovers Day. One other thing. This is something I did not know.
Well, let's tell everybody, make sure you celebrate responsibly.
Absolutely.
Your Beer Lovers Day.
Well, be responsible and sign up for the class.
Yes, exactly.
Have a fun experience.
That's the way to do it. All right, we got the link posted there. So
perfect. Were there any alcoholic beverages legally sold during the Prohibition era? I did not know this answer.
Yeah. Yeah, Brad's shaking his head. Brad knows the answer. What's up, Brad?
I'm just assuming yes, since it was the question.
The answer is yes, and it was beer, although it was produced with less than 0.5% alcohol.
So it was an O'Doul's. They
yeah, it's basically non-alcoholic.
They had an O'Doul's. Yeah. There you go. That was the Irish beer. Okay, what goes really good with beer?
Fried food?
Salami.
Oh, okay.
Today's also National Salami Day. I know you don't eat salami because you don't eat meat.
I
love salami. Love it. Most commonly made with pork. Makers use other meats and blends for preparing salami. For example, delis may offer lamb, duck, or beef and pork blend. The ground sausage is blended with seasonings and salt, air cured in either a pork or beef casing. Methods and recipes vary by region and country. Even aging time varies. However, makers typically age salami between 30 and 90 days or longer. This is something I didn't know. So, two salamis might be familiar to you, like Genoa and hard salami. I never know when I go to the deli. I can't remember which one I ordered the time before, which one I liked. So, Genoa salami ages with red wine, peppercorns, and garlic. This softer salami offers a fermented flavor. In contrast, hard salami not only falls under cured category, but makers also dry and smoke the meat. The result, salami slices easier. So, Genoa has that fermented flavor.
It's all lost on me. I'm sorry, Megan. I'm listening to you and I'm trying to absorb it, but it's been so long since I've had a piece of salami that it's like, I don't know. It could be a piece of cardboard. I wouldn't know the difference. I'm sorry.
I hope you would. Okay.
Brad, were you going to a special salami place over there? Were you thinking about salami? Are you a fan? No.
If it's there, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't go out seeking it.
Yeah.
You don't?
Yeah.
How about you, Donnell? Do you like salami?
Yeah, I eat it. It's not a favorite.
Dang.
Yeah, you're
I'm
all
at
alone.
the table by myself. Zanetta, do you like salami?
Yes, especially on a charcuterie.
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
We all can share a charcuterie board
with a
later.
slice of brie and a piece of salami. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm missing out, I guess.
1 ounce
if you're
of salami.
watching, tell us in the comments
How you like salami?
Yeah, how do you like it?
How do you like it? 1 ounce of slice of salami contains 94 calories, and the country that produces the most is Italy. Most say it's the best salami in the world. I don't know that for sure. So if you've got a good salami story, share it with us.
Okay, sounds good. No, I mean you got to celebrate. If it's
Good.
today. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to sign up for beer brewing, and then we can do taste testings.
Yep.
With different, whether it's Genoa salami or hard salami.
I'm surprised you didn't bring some salami for you to.
Why? I have nobody at the table who likes it.
Yeah, but both Brad and Donnell said if it's
They
there,
weren't
they'll
sure.
eat it.
Oh, that's
right?
true.
Yeah.
And Brad also said he hasn't had coffee or breakfast, so he probably would have eaten anything I brought.
Salami and beer would have
Taken care of
sufficed.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Equivalent.
Well, guys, thanks again for being here with us this morning and celebrating our National Beer Lovers and Salami Day. So, but that's not why you came to share your experience and stories with us, now did it?
Nope.
Nope.
I just want to point out one thing. It seems like you guys are non-headphone people, huh?
Oh, we've got it in our ear. So Zanetta can talk to us secretly if we need to,
Yeah.
you know?
I see.
Like the eagle has landed,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we can
Gotta
still
go.
hear, but yeah, it's just kind of tucked away.
To be honest, Brad, I stopped wearing headphones because I wear too much hairspray, and I get headphone hair. Donnell laughs. You don't have to worry about that. So
headphone hair.
I get headphone hair.
And that's a common thing. A lot of people don't want to mess up their hair, and they're like, I don't care enough about the headphones, so I just won't wear them. But
Speaking of, Donnell, I mean, I'll let you introduce, but I still get my hair cut over at Elite, and actually from one of your most recent students now, Chase? Is it?
Chandler.
Chandler, excuse me. Wow, sorry, Chandler. Yeah, they do a fantastic job over there,
And that's how you guys met, right?
Pretty much, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. When I moved here 5 years ago in the summer, I was looking for a barber, and I went to Elite. And I never really had Dino as my actual barber, but I just would see him there, and then we just would kind of chat. It's what you do in a barber shop. And then we had a mutual interest in a lot of different things, and he came on my older podcast a while ago.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was the first time I think I'd ever seen you, because I'd started working at the college and I knew that he was doing a podcast, and then so I saw that. And didn't you do some sort of stylized haircut for him too? That was, what was the pattern
his logo.
on that?
Actually, it was his
logo. That's right.
On your head?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't have a picture.
While you're talking, I'll see if I can find the picture. And I'll send it to Zanetta real quick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. That was a big thing.
But I guess that was so you did that podcast together, and then years later, now you guys are actually doing something on a more regular basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that was kind of how it started, or talk to us a little bit about what Dad's Unscripted is and what you guys are doing.
Yeah,
let's say it. Kind of started, me and Brad, I had moved locations, and when I changed up locations, I have more of a private, studio as well. Mm-hmm. And me and Brad had been going in, and he was coming through, and it was like every time he would come through, man, we would have these real good conversations, about fatherhood and raising the kids and all. And one day Brad was like, man, every time we finish, the haircut, it's like therapy. He said, it's like a real therapy session in here. Mm-hmm. And a few weeks later, he said, I got an idea that I want to present to you. And we came with it.
Yeah.
He came and thought of the idea with Dad's Unscripted, and I thought it was a real dope idea.
Yeah.
I said, that's good. And so knowing with his expertise and what he do, I jumped on in.
Yeah.
So for me, it was I had been doing this other business podcast for about 3 years at that point, and it always started off as an experiment. It was just like, I would interview a couple of business owners, and then it became part of my routine, and then it started getting more complex just because that's what I do. I just make anything simple, and I just continue to make it more complex. And so, but it became part of this routine. And I was like, man, I'm just not having a whole lot of fun with this thing anymore. It's a lot of work to do this kind of level podcast.
It is.
You guys do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hands, a lot of moving parts. And so I said, what? I still want to do a podcast, just not this thing. And I said, well, what if I did it with one person? I don't have a guest each week, because that eliminates a lot of scheduling stuff. And so I said, well, what would I do a podcast on? And at that time, I had started listening to a lot of mental health podcasts. Here's the thing about podcasting. If we think about iTunes, and they're like the largest podcast provider, or even Spotify. The majority of podcasts that are out there are out of date, meaning they haven't been updated in like a year or longer. And so I was listening to a lot of these mental health podcasts, but they were older episodes, and so there was never anything new coming out. So it's kind of like listening to your favorite or like reading your favorite author's book, but then they just stop writing books. Mm-hmm. You can't continue the series on anymore, basically. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, well, maybe I could do a mental health podcast, but I'm thinking, well, I'm not a mental health professional, and I certainly don't have the expertise on it, and I certainly don't want to give someone the wrong information either. That was a real big concern for me, and it was a big concern for Dino when I started talking to him about this. But then we just said, you know what? We'll just approach it from just basically two dads talking about their experiences and just kind of what works for them, and just without any non-specific kind of stuff. And it just so happened, as he was mentioning, when I was getting my haircut with him for a little bit, every time I would go in there, because it's a one-on-one experience at his new shop. Yeah. There's like really there's a waiting room, but it's really just one person in the shop there. And so we would talk very openly to each other.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, we both have a lot to share, and we have good insight into a lot of these mental health issues, but also just about the stresses and joys of being a dad, just the two sides of it. And so, then we just kind of brainstorm. Actually, that's what it was. I remember we went out one night. I said, let's just go out tonight. Let's brainstorm some ideas. Let's brainstorm some topics, some names. And the first couple that we wanted wasn't available. And so that's when we came up with this Dad's Unscripted thing.
And Donnell, you're actually at that next level because you have grandchildren.
Yes.
So you've been through the dad, and you continue to be a dad, always. Once a dad, always a dad. But now that you're at that grandparent level.
Yes.
And you've got a lot to teach the other generation.
Yeah, I got a lot of insight on it, definitely. And, for years, I was a single father, and before, end up getting, married for the second time. So it was a lot of different experiences that I've, had that I know I can share, with others to help bring them through, some things and give them some ideas on, the do's and don'ts of, single parent fatherhood as well as, both parents. So
yeah, because you end up in the deep end really fast, and like even whether you're a single parent or not, just as a parent, you find yourself in the deep end real fast.
Yes,
and you got to figure it out. And a lot of times we rely on our parents. There's that generational learning. Sometimes that's there, and sometimes it's not. But even when it is there, your parents were doing the best they could, right? Yeah. They got thrown in at the deep end at the first time too. So.
Like I said about the beer, they could make what they had,
right.
Whatever the recipe, and whatever was available to them, and how they were taught.
Right. And so, like Brad, you were talking about how the mental health podcasts you were listening to changed, or they stopped, but life keeps moving on, and things you have to do as a parent are changing too, right? Obviously, technology and social media is a big part of what they got to do, and how they interact with their friends, and how they feel about themselves, and obviously, mental health is much more. Of an issue and more prevalent with our children now than it was when we were kids, or it was there, but we had different coping mechanisms for pushing things down.
Community and world events, they keep morphing, and so as those change, how we parent to our children and how they react to the environment and to the elements and events.
Yeah, so we're still learning, and like I say, me with 5 grandkids. I'm definitely still learning.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the events keep escalating also. And so it's like an event today is much bigger than an event that maybe happened even 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 40 years ago.
And I don't know if they're necessarily bigger. We're just more aware of it because of the constant 24/7 news.
Yeah.
And you can get it anywhere. And the children can get it anywhere. So before, we kind of grew, I don't know about your age group, but our age group, we kind of were sheltered. We kind of wrapped in plastic. We didn't have that.
You heard it one time at 6 to 7 o'clock. 6 to 7 o'clock, you heard it one time.
Yeah, you had to do your current events, and you had to go and find Dad's newspaper and read it and clip it and write a little article about it. But other than that, we just weren't bombarded with a lot of those outside stressors that now as parents we still try to buffer, but we also know that they've got to be strong enough to understand how to get through the day knowing it.
Exactly.
So there's a balance.
Yeah, and just want to touch on one other thing with the mental health piece and why we were doing this here. We have a bit of an advantage doing this in 2023 because the idea of mental health is much more desensitized now than it was years ago, and specifically for men. Years ago, like the barbershop was basically the place where you got things off your chest. It was either the barbershop or a bar with your buddy. Those are your two coping places. And so now it's pretty normal, I guess, for anybody to get mental health support, but it's becoming much more normal for men to get mental health support. And just to make a quick nod to September, so when we were planning this particular podcast out, we decided to do it during September. If you're unaware, September is National Suicide Awareness Month. So the whole month is around suicide awareness. And ultimately, it's not like every single stressful situation is going to lead someone to that, but that ultimately is the really ugly elephant in the room that happens when we talk about our mental health going unchecked. Yeah. When we had first started this, I was kind of looking into, what is the real, how big of a deal is this? And, I don't want to say the wrong number, but I don't know the exact number of the U.S. suicides per day, but men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women. And a lot of that is because we hold things in, or for years we've held things in. We haven't talked about this, and so when we were discussing all this, it was like, man, if our main goal is to basically get someone that's kind of in a bad place to just seek mental health, to seek therapy, basically.
Well, the last 2 years, the highest growing demographic for suicide are blacks between 12 and 19.
Exactly.
Wow, I didn't know
since
that.
2021, that's the highest growing demographic.
Wow.
And again, it's one of those things that I've spoken on, our podcast. So definitely you can go back and check, and he can give you the exact number if you check that Unscripted podcast. He give you that exact number. But in the African American household, it's been mental health thing it's one of those things that really don't get spoken about. As I was raised, it was always more so what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Sure.
So whatever issues and problems and things that you have going on, you don't talk about it outside, and that has led up to a lot of the issues as of today. And so we're trying to break that stigma and let them know, those are things that's been causing those problems by keeping it in the house or keeping it to yourself. And so, let them know it's okay to be not okay, and speak on these problems and seek for mental health.
Donnell, we've had the conversation before that when you're in the process of training your barbering students here at Craven, you've also got to help prepare them for when they've got a customer in the chair that they may recognize are having some substance issues because of physical appearance, physical awareness, but also there might be some mental challenges. How do you breach that chapter and get somebody prepared, and not necessarily, like Brad said earlier, they're not going to be a clinician, but how do they get them to the right people if they speak out?
And when they do speak out, again, you start to know your clients, and the thing is helping my students understand and identifying the clients and the relationships with their clients. And through those relationships, you can kind of gauge from visit to visit how your clients are, acting. And sometimes you may see them uppity, and sometimes, they may be down. But when they are down, you make sure you ask these important questions to try to tap into them to see if they will share some things with you. And then if they do share those things with you, have resources for them. Because, again, no, we're not by no means, the certified therapist.
Sure.
But at the same time, I know what has helped for me. Brad know what has helped, for him. And my thing is seeking the therapy, and a lot of times they just don't have the resources. So when training the students to identify and first off build a relationship, that can get you there.
And I think one of the to add on to your point there, one of the great things about therapy today, see back in the day, if you went and saw a therapist in person, it's part of the fear might be like, oh, someone's going to see where I'm going, or 'cause you're out in the public. But now you have this telehealth option. I don't do the telehealth. I see a therapist each week. I've been doing therapy off and on for about 5 years, but pretty consistent for like the last 2 years or so. I've done the telehealth a couple times. I can't do it. It's just not for me. Yeah. But for a lot of people, it's a big growing business for therapists in general. And insurance covers most of it. And so if you have some sort of health insurance, you probably are getting your therapy covered, either at no charge or like a very, very low copay. And you can have a telehealth option. My point to that is you can do it very affordably and in private. So you can get the help that you need to at least get stuff off your chest, but then also get some tools and resources from that person to just, when you're in the thick of it and you're in this kind of bad moment, or even stress and anxiety in general, even if it's not depression, even if it's just anxiety, you're going through an anxious moment, you just have a kind of a way to just deal with that in a healthy way. Because that's a lot about what we talk about is these unhealthy reactions to being a parent, basically. Let's just say, you have your kid's going through a tantrum phase or something. That's difficult to deal with. That causes you a lot of anxiety because it's like you just want to fix it. We just want to fix these things. And so the point of the therapist is that, there's different ways to kind of cope with that in a healthy way, and just, learning how to back up, learning how to kind of pause yourself, learning these learned skills that you can practice.
Yeah. It's really just coping, right? It's how to cope with everyday life, whatever situation comes at you. You learn how to, whether it's to take a breath or, just take a moment and just kind of get through it and be able to move on, because that's all we got is moment by moment.
Yeah.
Right?
And I was thinking about this the other day. Since we've started this podcast, I've had a number of conversations with individuals that have told me, that have confided in me and told me about their lowest points and what they've gone through and where they've almost been, basically. And since then, you know, I've seen someone that basically is going through kind of a low point, and it was like me checking on this person, you know. I basically had now told myself that I will almost be embarrassed to have approached someone that was not in that low depressive suicidal state and sort of been like wrong about it. Basically, I'd rather be embarrassed and wrong
sure.
than wake up and hear bad news again.
Yeah.
I never want to put myself in that position again. Not that I was in that position, but I never want to be in that position.
Likewise.
Yeah. So, for people who want to check out the podcast, where can they find Dads Unscripted?
Yeah.
He's a pro at it. He know how to run
pretty much everywhere at this point. You can just go to dadsunscripted.com, and then that kind of acts like a hub. That basically brings you to the podcast show page.
Okay.
And from there, you can branch out to either saying, I want to listen to it on iTunes, on Spotify, or watch it on YouTube, watch it on the podcast show page, or follow us on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. We're probably most active on Instagram and TikTok at this point. But if you pretty much type in Dads Unscripted somewhere in a social platform or a website, you'll get to the show.
So it's with an audio and a visual component, right? So you can just listen to it on Apple Podcast or Spotify if you wanted, or watch it. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Right. So you can listen to the full show on your podcast platforms. You can watch the full show, or you can get the clips, the short little minute clips on social media.
Okay.
Very
awesome.
good. Before we wrap up, I want to end on a high note.
Yes. Yeah.
So we are unscripted. I want you to take a few seconds to brag in the joys of fatherhood.
Ooh.
Tell us about your babies.
I'll tell you, this is almost easy for me because, I love watching my kid grow. He's 7 years old, and just watching him, like, it's like watching him mature. It's almost it's hard to look at him like a 7-year-old sometimes because of the mature things that he says, and it's like I just have to remember, like, he's still just a little kid,
Yeah.
But I put this on my Facebook the other day, and I was in my living room, and he was in the shower, it just maybe 2 rooms down, and I just hear from the other room. He just said, "Hey, Dad." I said, "What?" He goes, "Thanks for everything."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh man, it just." And it's like
That's like a kiss on the heart.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It really, and so that's probably my favorite thing is just the unprompted stuff that sometimes you just don't know what you're doing. If what you did that day was what you were doing was right. And then he just has a little shower moment.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, Donnell.
Yeah, it's been, I could say, just raising, 5 kids. I have 5 kids again and 5 grandkids. And it's ironic because I got 4 daughters.
Hey,
And
Fred's husband.
yeah, I got 4 daughters and 1, son, and I got 4 granddaughters and 1 grandson.
Oh.
So it's definitely, been a joy. It was a lot of great moments. And the thing is, just being able to look back over those moments. And now, me and my wife, we sit often and realize, like, the time went so fast, where it was just so much we was having to do with school and practices and games and all these different things, to now we empty nesters. And we sitting there, trying to just get used to this point. And it's been, about 4 years now that we've been empty nesters, but it's still weird with, with just us in the house now. And so we often, check on them. They come by, hang out. They come out here to the school. They love coming out here to the school, bring the grandbabies out here. But it's always a joy, especially when, you see them come in and they pop and want to come, start running to you. That is everything for me.
Yeah.
That is everything for me.
Melt your heart.
Yeah.
All right,
I just
Craig.
thought of like a great product idea. I feel like someone should invent like an Alexa type of speaker that just pumps in like teenage screaming sounds like every 10 minutes or something like that. For empty nesters, it's just a reminder of what the house full of sound was like.
Yeah,
Or
it's
stomping
weird.
up the stairs.
Yeah. Close that door. Shut that light off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my house. That's this morning.
Was
Yeah.
it?
I got teens in the house.
All
yeah.
right.
So
Well,
yeah.
It's your turn.
Yeah,
What's
I love
your
my
joy?
son. Like, you have these nice warm moments. This morning we argued about making his lunch and getting out the door in time for the bus. So.
That's not joyful. I wanted
No,
something
no,
joyful.
I'm kidding. But I mean,
But those are moments.
Yeah, of course, it's moments, and it's about I love watching my son grow up and become his own person, right? And learn how to overcome adversity. That's one of the things that's been great for me, is to see him. He's had several challenges, just like things that he thought maybe he couldn't do, and then when we talked through coping strategies on like how you can really do it, I love seeing him be able to grow, because that's ultimately what we're doing with our kids, is we're getting them prepared for the world, because one day we gotta like you're saying, is like they're going to be out there where they already are, and so that's the joy for me, is like seeing my kids get to that point. And so and of course, you know, my journey's been a little bit different because I also have step kids now as well, so that's been fun because I got to start like
in the middle,
like teenager right off the bat. So I'm also doing fun stuff like, you know, driving around with a 15-year-old who's trying to get her license.
You're going to get more gray hair.
Oh man!
But I mean, no, it's fun. You know, it's great to
exciting
to see her grow and see her
fun.
become confident and learn how to drive a stick shift, and like, so that, I mean, that's really the great part of it, is like seeing your kids grow and become their own, and like see where you've tried to guide them pay off. And of course that, you know, they still have to be their own person, just like we're all our own people. And our parents, I know my mom's watching right now,
Mom.
right? And
We love you.
And she can think of times where she's told me to do things and I didn't. So
Yeah. So if you have a joyful moment you want to share about your dad's raising children, throw it in the links. We'd love to hear from you. So. All right, we've got a lot of community events to talk. Oh, look!
Oh, there it is. Look at that.
Bear Impact. Whoop, whoop.
There you go.
That is too funny.
Unreal.
Right? Did you color it too? I mean, I can see the color, but you did all that together.
Yeah, I did.
I just thought he was just going to do like the outline and then just make like the shape of it. And he took it was like that took an hour to do.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm done. He said, I'll show you the mirror." And I go, "Oh my God, the detail in that was amazing."
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It was fun. It was fun
because
it was a challenge.
Yeah, because
It
you
was
don't
a
do that
challenge.
a lot, do you? Where people ask for specific designs in their hair?
Yeah, that's what I was pretty much known for.
Okay.
Is doing my hair art.
Okay,
and
got you.
like I say, every few years it'll come back. Like probably in about another year, all the Spider-Mans and the Ninja Turtles and all that'll come back. So it phases out and then they come back. But yeah, back in like '85, I was doing all the MC Hammer stuff. And
So not only is he's one of the best dressed on campus, but he's also an artist.
Yes, of course he is.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, y'all stay, because we're going to talk about some community events, and then if there's something we've missed and you want to throw in there, we'd love to have you do that. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Awesome. You want to get started? You want me to start?
It's time for community events. All right, so street cafes and family game night in September on the weekends, starting at 6 p.m. in downtown New Bern. Experience New Bern dining reimagined and enjoy cuisine that could rival any top food destination in the world. Street dining is back for the month of September in downtown New Bern. Bring the family and come out for an al fresco dining and family game experience. So that's starting tomorrow.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fun.
absolutely. The Maytag Virgin, September 8 and 9, 7:30 p.m. and September 10th at 2 p.m. New Bern Civic Theater. The Maytag Virgin is set in a current-day rural southern town and follows midlife school teacher Lizzie Nash and her neighbor, Jack Key, over the course of a year. They are two wounded souls, each widowed and trying to get their lives back. As fate would have it, in addition to being neighbors, both happen to work at the same high school. But their obvious and abundant differences contradict any hope they might possibly be a good match for each other. Or are they? I don't know. You got to go watch.
That's right.
Tickets are available at newberncivictheater.org.
And this is the last weekend for that. So if you want to see it,
Yep. Matinee,
this is the
September 10th.
weekend. Yep. Bike MS Historic New Bern Bike Ride. That's this weekend. I didn't realize that until I saw the sign in my neighborhood for the route. September 9th and 10th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in downtown New Bern and really all over New Bern. Absorb historic New Bern from the seat of your bicycle as you ride through the quaint waterfront downtown and into an award-winning harbor boating community, along with along with a community of riders dedicated to changing the world for people with MS. Enjoy the beautiful sunrise at the start and finish line in Union Point Park before your ride, and finish your weekend strolling nearby shops and restaurants. Register to ride at bikems.org.
I also will throw a little PSA in there. Please be safe with those riders. If you're driving nearby, be patient. Let the groups get by. Don't hassle them, please. Because this is a great event for our community. Be kind, right? Okay.
Yes.
Be kind and go to vendor markets. Whoop, whoop. September 9th, New Bern and Havelock. There's 2 of them. This weekend opens up some fun fall vendor markets. It's never too early for holiday shopping, starting with the Liberty Vendor Expo in Havelock at Liberty Church, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will also be food trucks on site and vendors ranging from handmade jewelry to engraving. I'm going to throw a little shout out there for our favorite workforce development Antoinette Williams. She actually will be there. She's going to be a vendor at that Liberty Expo. So please go out and check out her booth. She would love to show you all her pretties. New Bern is having their Family Fun Vendor Fest again at the Old Harris Teeter parking lot, located at 2025 South Glendaburnie Road. This vendor market also has food trucks, live music, kids activities, and lots of vendors. Come out and support local businesses and artisans in the community. Great time to start a little early Christmas shopping so it doesn't blow the budget in a few months.
Seeing that graphic up there reminds me, I think the little Midway is still in town this weekend too, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Over at Lawson Creek Park.
Through Sunday.
Through Sunday, yeah. Okay.
Go catch your Ferris wheel.
Yeah. The Triumph Palace Lawn Party, September 9th at 5:30 p.m. at Triumph Palace. Join Triumph Palace for a grand party on the lawn. There will be food, live music, entertainment, and more. Visitors will enjoy historic activities right on the historic grounds of Triumph Palace. Reenactments and performances from the 1st Regiment of the Continental Army and the 35th Regiment of the USCT, and the Fife and Drum Corps. There will also be modern-day fun with food, drinks, performances by the Bonafides, and fire dancers. Tickets are still available at trionpalace.org.
Very good. We also have Footloose on the Noose, September 9th, 6:30 p.m. Union Point Park. Footloose on the Noose is back again this week, featuring the British Invaders, performing all the great British bands of the 60s. This event is free, right on the water, or grab a chair and blanket and enjoy the night with great music. Pets are allowed if they're leashed. Coolers will not be permitted. Food trucks will be on site. Go get early, get you a good spot.
So busy. We're definitely getting into like festival fair season, aren't we? Yeah.
Nice
We're
stuff.
Not, Mumfest and the Seafood Festival are right around the corner too.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay. 9/11 memorials, September 9th at 7:20 and September 11th at 8:46. In New Bern and Havelock, the Craven County Firemen's Association will be hosting their 3rd annual Silent Memorial Parade to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Emergency vehicles will be traveling from Bridgeton, crossing the Neuse River Bridge, and traveling up East Front Street to Broad Street. We are asking the public to stand united in a moment of silence to honor the fallen. The City of Havelock is having a memorial service at the 9/11 Memorial Corner on Highway 70 and Cunningham. There will be a moment of silence at the time of the first plane crash and words of comfort from Officer Nolan Coffey at 8:47 a.m.
Very good.
Yep. There'll also be an event here on campus that our students are doing. I'm not sure that one's open to the public, but for any of our students and faculty who are watching, there'll be something going on in Ward Hall that day too.
Fantastic. Well, guess what?
Oh, wait, there's one more thing I got to throw in. Sorry. We got a last-minute breaking news. So the Craven Community College Early Childhood Education Program, they're going to be holding the Fall 2023 North Carolina Access Conference on September 13th through 15th at Craven Community College. So there's a long link here that goes with it in the info, but we're going to post that link in the comments. So if you're interested in early childhood education, it's going to be offered in person and virtually. So check that out. Yep. Okay.
So next week, we'll be back on In the Know with the Bait Foundation. Unfortunately, you will not be here with me, but I am going to have our Ray of Sunshine, Christina Bowman. Nice. She will be joining us from the foundation. So this year's annual campaign chair is Cy Seymour, and will be joining us, and our foundation assistant director, again, Christina. She will be in the host seat. Do I give her my seat and I get to go that seat?
I'm going to let y'all work that one out.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to discuss the campaign and how the foundation helps students and how the community can get involved and be in quotes, a ray of hope.
Love it.
We are very excited about our Ray of Hope campaign getting started. I know they just kicked it off during our convocation, so very excited about it. And I love the theme, and they do provide a lot of hope for our students. So and lots of blessings. So guess what? We'll see you guys next Thursday, September 14th. And gentlemen, anything else you want to share with us before we sign off?
We do have Panther Fest going on today.
That's right.
Here at the college. And we will, for the barbering program, we'll be actually doing free haircuts for staff and students during the time.
Nice.
Speaking of Panther Fest.
Just no public, just staff and students?
Yeah, it's staff.
Yeah,
and students.
yeah.
Okay,
It's an
gotcha.
event for the students and staff.
Cool.
we have each
That's
year.
awesome.
Yeah. But it's Panther Fest, so maybe our new Panther will be walking around.
Yeah.
You can give them a haircut and put them in the chair. Right?
And our new Panther needs a name.
That's right.
So do we have the QR code? Can we put that on the link so people can?
I don't know if she has that handy or not, but we
Okay.
could certainly
sorry.
put a link in there. But it's cravenscc.edu/mascot.
Okay.
So students, faculty, staff who are interested in helping come up with a new name for it, we've got a contest running. And so the submissions will close next Monday, and then we'll have there it is.
The prize is like a free year of tuition.
That's it. No.
That would have been a great
not.
idea, though.
Yeah, that would've been good.
Yeah, so if it's a student, they'll get a bookstore scholarship, and if it's a staff member, they get a gift basket.
That's a good deal actually for
Yeah.
the bookstore. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
good.
So,
Awesome.
so hopefully we'll get to see the Panther walking around today too. That'll be exciting.
It is exciting. All right. Anything else?
Always registering for classes. So if there's anything you want to do, we've got short-term training going on, and of course, flex term and B term. B term opens up in October. So come on down, talk to our advisors, and they'll help you out with some financial aid and class schedules and all the good stuff.
Yep. And I know, again, go and look at our workforce development side of the house, not just our beer brewing, but we have a lot of other classes that are starting this month and next. So we've got some scholarship opportunities as well and some grants. So make sure you come and talk to us. Don't let finances be your burden.
That's right.
So, gentlemen, thank you again for being with us. It was an
you for having
absolute
us.
treat. Love having you. But guess what? We are going to sign out, and my hope is that everybody will stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cut it out.
Bye, everybody.